for the Commanders or bounce back day for the Raiders?
I think it's a bounce back day for the Raiders.
Hey, Raider fans, is this bounce back day for the Commanders or is the Raiders taking the
It's bounce back day for the Raiders. You guys got Mariota in, so gives us a little bit more confidence today.
Max Crosby's going to eat.
They say the Raiders are going to be eating today.
All they're going to be doing is eating turf.
A bounce back performance? The Commanders came roaring back this week with a statement win over the Raiders. A complete team effort where all three phases delivered. Offense, defense, and special teams with sparks flying all afternoon. Well, it was off to the races early, and a ground game set the tone with a huge, explosive run from Jeremy McNichols.
Say that again?
Defense going to show up.
And the defense, in particular, dominated up front and set the tone with 5 sacks. The win? Well, it didn't come without a cost, and there was a few casualties, including the head coach going down. There's a lot to unpack from this one, from standout performances to injury concerns, as the Commanders now shift focus to a big road test against the Falcons. We'll break down it all right here on this week's Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus.
The man is back, y'all. We're back. Call your mama, call your daddy. We're back and we're back. We're back. Tony McGee, back, y'all. We're back. Tony McGee. Come on. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus.
People don't know the real story of what happened.
It was an unbelievable series of events and an unbelievable time.
Their championship was taken away from them in 1969. We are living in their championship now.
50-some years later, good is coming from it. They are impacting state after state after state after state.
And we're going to show the world how to love.
Crystal City Sports Pub, located in the heart of National Landing, is ranked one of the top 20 sports bars in the country. We are open 365 days a year. Crystal City Sports Pub, with its laid-back atmosphere, is the place to be. We offer 3 levels, over 100 TVs, an 18-foot video wall, pool tables, 3 full bars featuring 11 beers on tap, an extensive menu, and super friendly staff. We offer on- and off-site catering and ample space to host private parties and gatherings. Come experience Crystal City Sports Pub. It is the place to be.
Welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. Now, we were a little disappointed with the loss that they have had this year, but at the same time, for the first time in the last 3 or 4 years, I saw a complete game. I saw a special team that contributed to the team, didn't take away from them, put them in good position. I saw offense that went up and down the field, made it hard for them. I saw defense, ran the guy out of the pocket. Hey, more sacks than they've had in a year and a half. But the one thing I saw is team continuity. And I saw them have it together. I tell you what, we're a little giddy here because we're feeling good about it. So I got some good people to introduce here. Donna Hawkins, I know you were at the game, and you got a little bit of cold right now, but were they excited as we thought they are, as we are?
Hey, Tony, they were. My voice is on injured reserve today. But they were, because they put all 3 phases of this team together. I mean, the running game has been clicking on all cylinders all year long. Got away from it a little bit in the Green Bay game, but they got back to it with 201 yards. And Tony, you'll be surprised. The Commanders are second in the NFL running the ball, averaging 157 yards. So Coach Quinn talked about they wanted to be more balanced. Well, they were balanced in this game, Tony. So like you said, they were hitting on all cylinders. This is the first time we saw that, but they suffered some injuries again, Tony.
Well, I tell you what, and that's the one thing that worries you. They suffer injuries. But at the same time, when you look at it, you do see improvement. You have something to work with. I think the offensive line played pretty well. It's a couple of guys on there that need some work. Big Trey Johnson is with us. We're going to try to talk him into going back if we can before this show is over. Trey, can you go back, man? Can you get on that line of scrimmage?
I wish I could, man. A series or two, would that be it?
Well, what do you think about the offensive line's performance? Did you see improvement? Did you see somewhere they need to go and get somebody else? What did you think? When you can run the ball, you always can do well. But can they do that against everyone?
I don't know if they can do it against everybody, but they definitely did it against having both of those quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels and Marcus Mariota, helps. Both of those quarterbacks contribute greatly to the running game. I think the running game takes the pressure off the offensive linemen because they can dictate the tempo to the defense. It was some great individual efforts by the running backs this week, popping off some big runs, poor tackling by the Raiders. But I think the O-line did a good job of sustaining blocks, and it's an effort they're going to have to replicate, against some tougher competition.
Hey, Tony, can I throw this in one time? Brandon Coleman did not play in this game. Chris Paul was brought up because it's the competition thing. So Coach Quinn talked about Chris Paul getting his opportunity as a starter at the guard position because of his strength in the middle. He played well. So that's something to note because he said it will be competition between those two moving forward as far as Brandon Coleman, who was drafted last year, and Chris Paul.
Well, it's dog eat dog out there. Everybody want to eat. So, if you want to eat, you better serve it too. But at the same time, I'm not talking about serving. Come on. Now, we got Gary Clark in here, who I don't know if I ever saw drop a ball. Our receivers made some good catches, but they let some catches get by that could have been detrimental in the game. Do you not feel that way, G?
Well, I mean, the key is.
Oh, man. Should I say Hollywood? Would you not feel that way, Hollywood?
As long as the receivers, receivers are going to drop balls during the course of the football game. Me personally, I dropped a lot of balls during the course of the football game. The key is what you do to make up for the drops during the course of the game. Typically, if I had a couple of drops in the game, more than likely I was going to have a good game because I was going to make up for those things because I felt so bad about having those drops. So I think, getting Terry a little bit more involved in the game this week was always good. I think he had around 74, 75 yards, something like that on 2 or 3 catches. But the key is, the running game went well. You got all the backs contribute. Quite honestly, the backs with the most yards got the ball the less.
Yes.
That's a good thing. When you got anybody that you're putting in running the ball and they're able to generate yards for you, that's just like revenue. That's the way I look at it. When you generate those yards, it's like generating revenue if you had a business. So
that's
I like how they played yesterday. I'm hard on the defense just because I expect the defense, to keep people from 17 points or less because that was just what we kind of grew up on. That's what we was brought up on. You keep the team to 17 points or less, you win the football game. But they played well too. So I think they can play better. I think they can play a lot better, quite honestly. But at the end of the day, we won the game convincingly, and that's the most important thing.
And what was so nice about it, every facet of the team contribute. That's what was important. Before I get away from that, Big Solomon, like Gary was saying, how did you think? Overall, I think the defense did well. But I just saw that one player, and we had a couple that made a lot of plays, but Wagner kept us going and a lot of people. But overall, was that one of the best defensive line performances you've seen with this team?
Well, let me first do something, Pop. I got to give it up to my man, Will Harris. He was the Bama of the week last week. He was the player of the game, and he gave his body up to actually save a possession. It could have been a touchdown. That's how he hurt his Achilles. So he went on and ate this week. Also, defensive line, got to give it up. That's the first time I've seen pressure where he had to get out the pocket and scramble. And then the defensive coordinator, got to give it up to him. Sitting in blitz packages where it was freeing Bobby Wagner up, where he actually ended up with 2 sacks. So I was actually impressed with the overall Pops where they put it together. But I got to give it up to Will Harris because played a totally different game from the Green Bay game. And he actually hurt himself saving a touchdown. So big ups, Will Harris.
Well, you know, I tell you what, and I like the way they played it. You did hit the key point. And what we have to do, and the one thing that I saw that really bothered me is they didn't read the other defensive line enough. And when I say that, in other words, if you got a quarterback and his best move, he step up. If there's no one there, he's always going to go to the left, you or the right. If it's the right, which the one for the other day, you make sure you do not let him out to do that. They did that 3 or 4 times. But before we get, I know, Donna, you got some film, but Mike, we never get a chance to say this, but the special teams were outstanding.
You know, Tony, they really were. And in my NFL news last week, I talked a lot about not cutting McGe. And if you all saw it, you saw that some of the older kickers tend to be a little bit more steadier and more predictable than some of the younger kickers. So I would stick with McGe. But just to add on to what Solomon said, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, they were really high on him last year, and I know he got injured. But, man, did he fill in as a defensive end or on the edge. I mean, he really had a good game, Tony. And you know the one thing that I thought was really cool? Trent Scott was eligible. So he was coming in to fill in for John Bates. He was sort of added to the offensive line to give him a fifth lineman. And it really helped Connerly out a lot. And I was just noticing the configurations of the defense, and they had to deal with Scott because Scott can come out of the backfield and he can catch a pass. So that really did confuse them bringing in Trent Scott. So anyway, I don't want to take too much time because Donna has a piece, but those are just a few things that I saw I thought were noteworthy.
Well, Donna, you've heard the consensus of everyone that up on the staff. We all feel that they did real well. You went in and talked to them. Did you get an air of feeling like this is a turnaround game for them that, you know, before they say we good, but we don't. Now they're coming out and teams are looking at them saying, this was a pretty good team.
Yeah, Tony, but I'm going to say Mike's comment about the kicker a little later when we talk about special teams.
Don't cut him.
Because let me tell you, Tony, he's been struggling. They can't afford to be missing 37-yard field goals, and then he's missed, I think, 4 so far. So I'll leave that, Tony. But we're
you just mad because your voice is gone.
Hold on, Pops. I think somebody lost a bet too. I want to say
no. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I did not bet, Mike. You all betted, Mike. I told Mike that I was going with what Coach Quinn said, that he would announce it on Friday. But before we get into all of this backwards and forwards, who said what? Let's go to the locker room, a happy locker room.
This team bounced back this week, got the win, and everybody was in on the mix. Talk about this game and this big win.
It meant a lot to us, you know, after losing a game the whole week, like you ready to get back on the field and prove like you better than what you put on tape last week. So like it was good to see everybody just go out there and execute and have fun at the same time.
This team in the first half had 174 yards on the ground. Could you talk a little bit about just how this team overall played from the offensive side of the ball, defense, special teams? What did you see out there today?
Everybody was hitting, you know. That was one of our things is run and hit. We're going to out-hit everybody, and I felt like everybody was doing that. From the jump, you know, you got Debo on special teams make a long return. Then you got Jay Lane who took it down to the house. Then you got defense who freaking played their butts off for real. Then you got offense, man. We were going ground and pound, as you could tell, to the first half. But, yeah, we were hitting on all cylinders as a unit.
This running game, though, was hit it on. Could you talk about Jeremy McNichols as your teammate and him getting that touchdown today?
Yeah, it's the vet. I was actually in with him, and you see he gets tangled up a little bit, and then he just shoots through. First off, I didn't know he had that speed on him, wherever that came from. But, you know, that's my guy, and he always tells us, you know, run hard and play your game. And that's what he went out there and did. He played his game.
Talk about just the play of this team today overall, and then the fact that you get to start today.
First of all, it's an honor to be on this team. We're all super talented, so it was great to see us come out and play to our standard. And I think now the challenge for us will be continuing to capitalize and grow and play to and exceed our standard.
You know, shout out to, the other four up front, man, we were just having fun out there. And then, those runners, the guys carrying the ball just refusing to go down just makes for a fun
Offense.
night.
This team as a whole, what did you see from today from everybody?
Yeah, I saw the team, which was a lot of fun, on every single unit, whether it was defense, special teams, or offense. A lot of guys flying around and a lot of guys exuding love for the game.
And you finish off with your 42-yard touchdown. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Grateful for that. Just fun to be a part of those plays all the time.
Hey, Tony, Jeremy McNichols got held up in the middle by Jeremy Chin that was here with the Washington Commanders last year, and he busted missing 3 people to get that touchdown. So his run was really remarkable.
I tell you, I looked at the whole team, and it's good when you can say something good about everybody. When we come back in the next segment, we will talk about a few things that need work, but at the same time, a win is a win. So when we come back, we keep Donna Hopkins quiet because we can't hear her anyway. We'll be back in the moment.
Whatever.
Hi, welcome home. It's Michelle Van Allen from Van Allen Real Estate. I am over 20 years experienced in this real estate game. We all know that right now in this market takes an experienced agent to get you what you need. All of you sellers, if you're considering putting your house on the market, please give me a call. I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk to you to find out where you place in this market. Hey, you first-time home buyers, remember, right now is the perfect time. It's a buyer's market to get you into your first dream home. Hey, you investors, this is an amazing time to invest. If you ever thought about it, give me a call. We can talk about it. We can talk about specific properties that are on your radar and mine. Give me a call. I'd be more than happy to welcome you into the Van Allen Real Estate team. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Looking for top-notch sports officials who know the game inside and out? The Greater Potomac Officials Association, GPOA, proudly serves the military community throughout our region, with nearly 90% of our officials being military retirees, active duty service members, or guardsmen. We bring unmatched discipline, professionalism, and integrity to every contest. From youth leads to adult alumni, our officials cover it all. Want to learn more about GPOA or bring our officials to your program? Contact owner and CEO Earl Teller III at 202-498-2032 or email him at gr8rpotomac@comcast.net.
We developed something. Yes, Mike Baker came back and he said, look, we want to get back on the couch. We want to analyze these individuals and see what's happening with them. See how they're really for real. Can they be the next Super Bowl champion? Well, you go to a guy that's probably the best in the game when he played at his position. And I feel like I want to go to him first because I think his position on this team, it's his offensive line, is going to make him or break him. I mean, Trey, can you see that sticking out a little bit right now? You look at the defensive line. They're playing as well as they can, and they're playing pretty good. You look at the running backs, they're doing their thing. But that offensive line have to go. You look at receivers, we talked about dropping a few balls, but they have to go. The one facet that I want to see dominate like you guys did, and I want to see can they do it, is the offensive line.
Oh, I agree. I mean, obviously I'm biased. The offensive line is the backbone of any organization, and this is no different. You got the skill guys, like you said. I think the defensive line has been working. I think it needs to be a little more identity and continuity up front. There have been some key additions with Larry Tunsil coming in. I thought he was a nice addition to the line, but I think that they did well versus the Raiders. Some lapses, but I think the schedule is going to get increasingly harder, and they have to play at that level week in, week out, and it's going to be a test to see whether they can actually accomplish that. But I think with them is where the fate of the team goes if Jaden Daniels comes back healthy and ready to go.
Now, what about that? What is it looking like? You think he's going to be out another week or so? I mean, he got a proven backup now, but how long do you want him to make sure he's well, or do you get him back in there so he doesn't lose his touch?
Who's the next game? I'm sorry.
I'm down here in Atlanta, and that's all I'm hearing about. They're the next ones, and they are a team to be a little afraid of. I'm kind of surprised at what happened on Sunday, but they have a pretty good organization and team down here together. So really the Commanders have to come down here and keep their heads on right, because this team can hurt you.
I think that's going to be a tough one. I mean, the way they upgraded their defensive front, Atlanta got pass rushers now, and they got a solid defensive backfield. In my opinion, they got the best running back in the game this year. So it control tempo, eat up clock, so your opportunities may be limited. And if they get behind to the Falcons early on, then you're kind of forced or compelled to pass. If you don't have a Jaden Daniels to match up against a Michael Penix Jr., although Marcus Mariota is a decent backup, I think that is a huge deficit to overcome. And I think if you can't protect him, it's even worse. You don't want to repeat that whole RG3 thing and have somebody with so much promise, who is an organizational once-in-a-generation talent, continue to be hurt and nicked and doesn't get through the year and fulfill his potential and build upon what they did last year. So I think this game is pivotal. If he can play, I think the Raiders game was a great game for him to sit back. I think it would have won that no matter what, but they need him this week.
That's why we go on the couch. And you know what? All I can say is say it. You said the right thing they have to do. And I tell you what, even down there, as you went into the locker room and you heard from the defense, did they feel their side was doing the best they could do?
Hey, Tony, you know what? 5 sacks. Do I need to say any more? But one area that they still want to get better at is they have no picks this year. But let's go right into the locker room, a happy locker room where the defense, Tony, up front, they were explosive, physical. You like all those things, Tony.
You just said that today was you all's day. You all come away with 5 sacks. Talk about this win, this bounce back game.
It means a lot to us. We wanted to come out here and obviously, I guess you can say, get our get back from how we came out last week. But we came out here and we looked good. We felt like ourselves. Everybody played at a high level, execute at a high level. And things just went our way.
Hey, Javon, talk about this performance from this whole team. Defensive front got after them, didn't give anything up, running game, but this whole team really performed on a high level, bounce back game.
God is good first and foremost, and that's just what happens when it's a collective group effort, man. Everybody was firing on all cylinders, and that's what it looked like. That's what it's supposed to look like.
What did you see from that defense as a whole, from the front to the back end? What did you see today?
I saw a bunch of hungry people, you know what I'm saying? I saw some hungry out there, man. Shout out to DA, DP, man. Shout out Jay-Z, Eddie Goldman, Jay Holmes. Shout out the whole D-line for real. But everybody was doing their thing, man.
Could you talk about the effort overall of this team today?
Complimentary football. That's what we preach, man. It takes every unit, every guy in the locker room, right? We had guys go down and we had guys step up. That's the beauty of it, right? Like I said, nobody's bigger than the program. The program is the team, right? Coach Q says it all the time. The most important thing about the team is the team. So it was beautiful to see, man, guys step up in different roles and just make plays. Seymour on the kickoff, tackling the guy inside the 25, right? C-Rod comes in there for me on punt return on the one that they break out for a touchdown, right? So it's like everybody buying into what we're getting asked to do and believing in it, right? And going and playing for their brother, not just themselves. That's the beauty of the team. So it's always a blessing when you got a group of guys that are like that, man, because it makes football fun. It makes coming to work fun.
Just talk about just how this team bounced back on all cylinders today. You were getting everybody in on the action.
I think we just did a great job of shifting our focus, getting to the next opponent mentality. We cleaned up the things that we needed to clean up from the first game. But it was great to play complimentary football. Special teams was firing. Offense did what they had to do. And then on defense, shout out to the guys up front. 5 total sacks is what was just mentioned. So I think when you play like that, when you play as 3 units playing together, you do what you did out there today.
Vaughn Kinlaw on that defensive line has been explosive in these first 3 games. I mean, he's killing up front.
You know, if we continue to do it the way that they're doing it, they will be known by the end of this year. Solomon, I'm going to ask you a quick question. I got a couple, but you've seen a lot of the defensive lines for this Washington organization. This is a young one, big fella. Do you think they can come along and be like the guys when I played, the Dexter Manleys and the Charles Manns and Dave Butts and Daryl Grant? Do you think they can reach that potential? The reason I ask that question is because they seem to work together as a group. And that's one thing we haven't saw consistently here in the last few years.
I'm gonna be honest. They can be good, but hold your horses on that one. That group, that silent force group that you just brought up, Perry Brooks, Dexter Manley, The World, you, Big Dave Butts. Let's hold our horses, Pops. They're gonna be all right. Now they have been playing better as a unit. And one of the things is I've been talking about, like he said, they were hungry. So when you're hungry, you eat. And they were eating. And then it caused the backfield. Now, the only thing I'm scared about, Pop, is everybody was eating to the point where we suffered injuries. Lattimore got hurt, Amos got hurt, and we know Harris is out with Achilles. And we're actually playing against another tough tight end next week because I kind of like what they did against the Browers this week by shutting him down. We didn't hear about him. But they're going to have that same pass rush next week against Penix because they got a couple tough receivers, and they also got one of those versatile tight ends again. But they're getting there, but don't put them up there with that group yet. That group, that guy behind me right here, that was 100+ sacks right there.
Hello.
A long way to go. So let's just hold our horses on that one, Pop.
Well, now Donna gonna say she scored 100 points, so you shouldn't have gave up that information.
It was 1,000 points, Tony. 1,000.
My bad. We're gonna take a little break right now. When we come back, we're gonna look at other teams and see how they match up. What do we think? And one thing about it, we're pretty positive right now, but you got to look at the long season. And one thing that is really seems to be happening at this time, a lot of injuries. Look at the quarterbacks in the last game. Look at the players that come out in this game hurt. We know that injuries is part of the game, but this year it seems as though it's going to be a major part. And when we come back, we'll talk to the guys about that and the young lady, because I tell you what, you can be good, but you can't be hurt. Now, Big Zoe said something a few minutes ago. Let's don't get too excited. And that's the one thing they used to tell us all the time when we played. Don't worry about that game you just won. Enjoy it for a couple of hours and get ready for the next one. And this Washington team will have to be ready. I know that Atlanta did not look good this week, but at the same time, they are a complete team. Now I digress and go back to, we also, before we talk about them, let's talk about the special teams. The special teams for the Washington Commanders, they had disappeared until this year. I tell you what, and anybody can answer this if you want. G, what do you think about special teams? You had the nerve to say they brought you here for special teams, and you turned out to be all world. But tell me what you think about the special teams, because a lot of plays were made on Sunday. A lot of things that kept the game in check was done Sunday. Did you see that?
Yes, I mean, when you have the special teams firing off, it is such an added addition to your team that makes you so much better. When you have all three facets working, you score 41 points. That happens. And so for me, it was the first time that I saw that from the team where their special teams really kicked in offensively as well as defensively. I mean, they played well. And I think it had a big reason why they won the football game is because of those big plays that were made from the special teams.
I tell you, and that shows you all teams need to win. Now, they're going against this Atlanta team, and as you heard someone mention, the defense is doing real well down here in Atlanta. I've seen a little bit of them. They're big, they're agile, they're outside individuals of people that can play safety if they had to. and they got a little speed, but at the same time, they make a lot of mistakes. With that being said, Trey, what do you think with this Atlanta team? Do you need to hit them in the mouth early and break the spirit, or do you try to run on them and wear them down?
I'm always running on them and wear them down to break their spirit. I don't think these dudes can hold up in the middle. Grady Jarrett is gone. They do got some nice edge rushers, and that's strength. I think if you punch them in the mouth, to me, they didn't seem to tackle real well versus Minnesota. You can get 5, 6, 7 yards of carry and more as the game goes on. Keep the time running. We score early on them, they'll get desperate. And I think that's the key. I don't think you get all cute with them. I think you just go ahead and punch them right in the mouth.
Mm-hmm. You look at every team, and Donna, you've watched this because you watch all the games, and you can't say there's no one team out there right now that has improved more than others. It seems as though all teams have improved somewhat, and it seems like the teams that have been on top the last few years are starting to go down.
Yeah, Tony, you must be talking about the Kansas City Chiefs.
I didn't mention nothing.
But they did win, Tony. But they did win. But like you said, when you look at the mixture of teams, the Philadelphia Eagles, they're winning ugly, but they're still winning. You look at Cincinnati Bengals and what they're doing up there. And what about the Colts, who I think are lost one game, and the Chargers and the Jaguars, who Solomon Mead went with last week. It's some new teams that are emerging, but Tony, it's still the old team, still with the Ravens, the Bills. Those are still some of the cream of the crop, but a lot of other teams are starting to make some noise.
Well, Kansas City and Philadelphia are the only teams we can talk about out of that squad that you just talked about, because those other two haven't won any Super Bowls recently. We can't say that about Kansas City and Philadelphia. Philadelphia is legit. If they stay well, they're going to be hard to beat. But I think this team here is the one that can do that. And I know it's probably hard for people when they doing our NFL picks to pick these people. I tell you what, I never would have picked the Jaguars last week. But now you're seeing the transition in the league. They're changing around. They're getting rid of. That's right. I've been working out for about 15 minutes. I'm almost ready.
Hey, Tony, can I throw one thing in about the Falcons?
Go ahead.
Falcons have the same problem that we do right now. So Donna will feel a little better about this. They got rid of their kicker 2 games ago, and they brought in Parker Lee, and he was productive. And then last week, against Carolina, he missed 2 kicks. So they've got the same woes that Washington has. But I will say, I've watched a lot of games, and I watched the replay of this game. I'm telling you, Atlanta was 0 for 0 in the red zone. They played the whole game between the 20s. And I don't know what's going on with that team, but Michael Penix didn't look anything like he had looked at the week before. So I'm not saying it's going to be an easy win, but I'm going to say that it's not going to be a hard win. They're going to roll over them pretty easily.
Well, do you think they could throw another quarterback in there that knows a little bit more about the Washington team that could be dangerous?
Kirk Cousins, he played. Kirk Cousins came in. He was 5 for 7.
Mike, you weren't supposed to say his name. We were going to keep it quiet.
And Mike, they still got beat by 30. Hey, Mike, they still got beat 30-0 to the Panthers.
0 for 0 inside the red zone.
Yeah, that is true. And the thing about it is they did get to the red zone. So if they correct that, they could be a pretty tough team to go along with. But Trey, as you look at their offensive line, and one thing was mentioned, they may have the best running back in the game. And if they can get that running game going, Trey, they can be dangerous, could they not?
Yeah, he's a problem. I'm just watching him, the acceleration off his cuts, the jump cuts laterally, the yards gained after contact. I mean, you got to love Saquon. You got to love Big Derrick Henry as your front runners. He's my guy. I watched him do some things in that game against the Vikings, just little 4- and 5-yard runs from losses that he could be a problem if Washington doesn't wrap up, especially with these injuries on defense. That can be concerning because if they can, I think both the Falcons and the Packers took rough losses this week. And I think both of those teams are coming back with I've been in games like that where that next week somebody gonna take a whooping just because of what happened the week before. So I would say those teams are injured and looking for blood. So I would be a little bit more concerned about them maybe than what they've shown versus the Panthers.
Hey, but Tony, I got a question for you. But when you look at the Commanders' defense, their defensive front, one area that they have been good at this year is stopping the run, because they did a good job this past week because they weren't getting anything out of the running game, and even in the Packers game. But how do you see the defensive front as far as just how they are, playing the run these days?
When I am watching a team and the defense is 2 yards on the other side of the ball, they are playing well. That's one thing they always tell us, and Trey will tell you that. Whoever plays in the other one's backfield is going to win that game. If the defensive line is in the offensive line's backfield, we're going to win that game. If not, now when you look at this right now, it's up and down. It's going to be who's going to force their will, who's going to go out there and make the play, who's going to get down in the dirt. Now, the good-looking players and the ones that catch all the balls like Gary and all of them, they're going to be important, because we have to get them limousine money every week. But at the same time, when you take a look at this, it's going to be who's the toughest. And Solomon, I'm asking you this about the defense, because even though you could have probably been one of the best tight ends in the world, you played basketball, but you did score 40 on them. So what do you think about this Atlanta defense?
Look, and we're going to go on and talk about this tight end. Big ups to my man Antonio Gates, who just went to the Hall of Fame. We versatile. So, no, I could have played tight end there, but I decided to be power forward and average that good double-double instead. But what I'm thinking about is what you said last week, Pop. Basically, it comes down to what you said. You said hit him in the mouth first. And I'm going to be honest, as much as the defense played well, we had the ball first, and the offense hit him in the mouth. That running game with Rodriguez, they didn't even have to throw the ball the first few possessions. I think they were all runs. And the biggest thing, like you said, was hit him in the mouth. I'm like Trey, I'm not sleeping on nobody. I feel like Atlanta's going to go home, sleep that loss off, and come just like they were contenders this Sunday. So I'm just like using the same theory that you used this past Sunday. Hit them in the mouth first, and then just keep on hitting them until they drop.
You got to make that dog not hunt. So when we come back down, we don't have time to do the challenge right now, dude. We need to get into another segment. But when we get back, you need to talk about that, because they have to make, all these fans out there have to make these decisions. I've been getting phone calls and stuff. As a matter of fact, I must be ahead in the picks, because everybody's talking about it.
No.
Don't pencil me this year. I'll be back in a minute, fans. I got something to talk to Donna about. Don't pencil me, Donna. We'll be back in a moment.
The one-of-a-kind joy of Kellogg's cereal and ice-cold milk.
It seems Tom Brady is at the heart of every discussion in the NFL. Is he passing along privileged information to his team, the Raiders? Remember, Brady owns 10% of the team. Former Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce said that Brady is pretty much involved in everything that has to do with the Raiders. He had input in hiring Pete Carroll. He had input in the Raiders draft. The X's and O's, not so sure, but he does have an open line of communication with the head coach and the GM. One thing is for sure, Brady has single-handedly sunk the tush-push, and I applaud him for it. During the Chiefs-Eagles game, he pointed out that the two Eagles guards were guilty of false starts. The overhead camera reinforces observation. So fans, after this year, the tush-push is dead, and it took Brady to do it. You gotta love it. Since 2020, when the NFL went to a 14-team playoff system, no team has made the playoffs after dropping its first 3 games. 3 teams were in danger of that dreaded chasm this past week. The Chiefs struggled but won, and the Bears rolled. It might be time for the Texans to throw in the towel. Today, I'm officially renaming the National Football League the NIL. No, not in the collegiate ranks. The National Injury League. Did you know that not a single team in the NFL had all its first-line starters available in Week 3 of the season, and 5 starting quarterbacks were absent from action? Speaking of backups, there were 3 for 5 this past week, with Carson Wentz, Mac Jones, and Marcus Mariota emerging as victors. Mariota might even have made an additional $200,000 on Sunday. By the way, I want to live next door to the Joneses. Your house is better than mine. Mac and Daniel Jones teams, that is. The Colts and 49ers are both 3-0. The Arizona Cardinals have lost running back James Conner, who will need surgery to repair a broken right ankle. Well, the chants last week in New York were, "Let Russ cook, let Russ cook." Russ is the moonball king. Now chants have started, "Throw the dart." I think Russ has one more bad game, and then I think it's going to be, "Throw the dart." Wide receiver CeeDee Lamb could miss several weeks with a high ankle sprain for the Cowboys. And there were 7 games decided in the final minute of the game last Sunday. That tied a previous record. The Chargers running back Najee Harris could miss the rest of the season with an Achilles injury. And Commanders safety Will Harris could miss 4 to 6 weeks with a broken leg. That's it for this week. Oh, by the way, the Commanders have a new chant. Terry, Terry, Terry.
Well, you know what? The Washington team has come back. People are respecting them. They're even talking about renaming them again, the Redskins. I'm all for it. I know a lot of people may not be for it, but there's a lot of things worse in the world than the name Redskin. And that's the only one I know that took me to the Super Bowl. I rode Gary Clark and all them kind of people there, and they should know that Commanders ain't took me nowhere, but I'm pulling. But speaking of pulling, man, John, you get all kind of, when we talking about this sports by challenge, people are just into it because they think it's going to be so many different people winning this year.
But Tony, it is hot because after the first 2 weeks or so, we got a hot competition, almost like our pits. But you look at Crystal City Pub 1-2, Glory Days 2-1. But look at GPOA, new to the picks this year, 3-0 to start off, and then Crystal City Restaurant 2-1, and Van Allen Real Estate 2-1. Tony, and let's go back to Crystal City Pub, a friendly neighborhood restaurant with great food. Tony, great for the sports fans. This week, they're picking the Giants and the Lions. Solomon, do you think that's good picks for them?
Yes, big ups. I want to first of all say what up, though, to Detroit. The Lions may show up because you don't know what Baltimore we're going to get this time. And I'm going to be honest, if we get the Baltimore that we've been getting this year, I'm going on and hanging my coat up on them. I'm not going to keep waiting for them. So I think those was a pretty good pick as far as the Lions versus the Ravens and that. I'm going with the Lions myself.
And the Glory Days, they're picking on Sunday night. The Chiefs, they believe in the Chiefs. And then, of course, the Ravens. And the Glory Days, Tony, you got to check them out because they have multiple locations for good food, sports atmosphere, and places all over the place for game day. So, Tony, you know them well. You know, you can go to them this week for great food. But, Tony, talk to me about the Glory Days and their picks, the Chiefs and the Ravens.
I like both of those picks. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to win. I'm thinking now that they're depending too much on one person to do this magic. They got another tight end that was hurt this game, and Travis is starting to see he's not the only superstar out there on the field. So I'm kind of looking at them having a little bit of problem right now. Now, when you talk about Glory Days, you talk about some good food. And you know what? Later on in the show this year, we're going to have certificates we give out to Glory Days. We're not going to try to tell you fans what's great. We're going to let you go at our expense. So when you talk about Glory Days, you got a winner. But when you talk about Kansas City, I want the Ravens too, and I'm almost getting like Solomon. If they don't hurry up, I'm gonna leave them behind because I'm just a schoolboy trying to learn this book, and they ain't taught me nothing yet.
Well, one thing, Gary, maybe you need to talk to GPOA as far as their picks because they're 3-0 to start off the season. They are the Greater Potomac Association where they officiate with the military, a great presence in the community. They have youth, intramurals. For all your official needs, they're the people to go to. They do it the best in the area. And Sunday night, Gary, they're picking the Chiefs and the Ravens. What's your pick? Because you said that you will never go against the Chiefs.
You know what? They turned the lights on me. They turned the lights off on me because that pick is going to be spectacular. They're 3-0. I'm going to go with what they're saying. They're 3-0. They're 100%. They probably know more than I know, and they definitely know more than you know, Donna. So
whatever. That is not true, but I know one thing.
That is so true. They're 3-0.
Hey, Gary, you know you're not 3-0. So we got Crystal City Restaurant, and you know what? It's so much to unpack about Crystal City Restaurant because they've been around since 1963. Quality hot food, a place to go to for all your memories because it'll be great food when you leave it because you'll be coming back again and again. That's Crystal City Restaurant. And Mike, Sunday night, they're picking the Giants. Who would pick the Giants the way they started off? And the Ravens, but somebody believes in that. Mike, you like their picks?
Yes. And come on. Everybody here in my town is a Ravens fan. If I mention Commanders, they say, who? Come on. You know the Ravens are going to the Super Bowl. This is your year. Come on.
They're going to have to do it, Mike. We've been talking about it long enough. I mean,
it's louder than words.
Yeah, but we got one more, Tony. Van Allen Real Estate started off 2-1. They're new to the family this year. Their agent is the best in the business for anything you need as far as if you're selling your home, if you're wanting to buy a home, commercial real estate, Van Allen is your place to go to for all your real estate needs. And look, they're picking the Chiefs and the Ravens. Trey, everybody else is going backwards and forward. Are you a believer in the Chiefs still? And also, is this the year for the Ravens?
I mean, I always feel like the Chiefs are a threat no matter what. I mean, they find ways to win games. Their system is sound, good coaching. They got a superstar, probably the best quarterback in the game, or definitely top 3 dual threat guys. Can't ever count the Chiefs out. The Ravens have been disappointing to me. I'm not going to lie. I really thought that last year was going to be their year. I'm always kind of pulling for them on the low because I love the makeup of their team. I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan. But if it don't get done this year, man, I'm jumping off the bus.
Thank you, Trey.
Hey, Tony, there you go with the picks this week. The challenge is getting hot.
You know what we're going to have to do as we go on in the year, Donna, and this is only the second week we're doing it, because of the off season. We need to have the people, let's give them the link and let them come on and say their pick right on there and see what they have to say. Because this is going to be heated. I mean, if you think about it, it's pretty close right now. It's not like our race where you have to pencil us. Hey, how many more of the people in this room right now think Donna really went 5-0?
Hey, look, Tony.
I mean, I'm scared, Pops. She forgot to bet that her and Mike made, so I'm scared at this point, so I don't know, Pop.
Hey, Solomon, a basketball player to a basketball player. Come on, don't throw me under the bus.
We talking football now, though.
And I'm putting you in the driver's seat because you're the one, which I'm going to be honest, I'm actually like Trey. Sitting Jaden out this game, that was a smart move because I think we were going to get the Raiders, but this next team we're going to play, Atlanta, we're going to need him. We're going to need him, and we're going to need him at the highest he can be because they are dangerous, like Pop said.
I'll tell you what, you get a team like that, it used to be Denver for us. I mean, one time we went out to Denver, and they had scored on us before the lineup came out. I don't know what happened. We never could win out there. And I'm a little bit afraid of this Atlanta team because they've played up to their potential part of each and every game. If they play the whole game, they can be dangerous. They can be some hurting. But we're not going to worry about that right now. We're going to go around the league, and I know that we don't have much time in this segment. We may have to do it the next time, but we want to see what other teams are matching up. Who else do you think is ready for it? Who else do you think the Commanders will have to beat? Where are they now in the league? Are they one of the top 3 teams, one of the top 5, or one of the top 10? Now, if they like Donna, we just let her get in. She's in the top 20. We'll be back in a moment.
Top 1.
The one-of-a-kind joy of Kellogg's cereal and ice-cold milk.
Well, now you were listening to the fans' picks, and you will figure that, oh, these people are professional. But don't worry, we got a lot of amateurs in this group too. Donna, what do the picks look like? Now, we all know you penciled us this week. Give me some scores. Let me know where I am.
I see that when people are behind, they always say that you're pencil whooping them. But
They
Tony,
call it the mouthpiece of jealousy.
hey, Tony, I just had a call from one of my sources, and Terry McLaurin does have a quad injury. But here's the picks, Tony. This week, you're at 7-3, 8-2. Gary 6-4. I told Gary that he needs to go with the Crystal City restaurant to get some help. No, that was GPOA with 3-0. Mike 6-4, and Solomon 7-3. So it's all close, Tony. And this week, these are the games that we picked. We're going backwards and forwards. So this lead is going to definitely change.
Well, I tell you what, Big Solomon, we doing what we're supposed to do here. Trey, what do you think about the rest of the year for this team? Game by game, change some things up, or run almost every play?
Run almost every play. But I definitely think health is going to be the key. I think it all is about Jaden Daniels. He's something special. The secret weapon, and this is my plug, y'all, the secret weapon going to be letting them boys Jacob Martin and Jordan McGe play because they from Temple.
Let's go, Temple out.
Jordan
McGee and Jacob Martin, some Temple boys.
Solomon, is there anything you need to tell me?
No, Pops, but I'm gonna do some research and see if it's something you need to tell me because he's kind of young still, and you were young. Do I need to go talk to my mother?
No, she may have heard that. This keep it down. I want to know if I'm a grandfather or not.
Hey, Trey, I think what you said was key. Injuries is starting to pile up for the Commanders, and they're shuffling on both sides of the ball. So I think that is going to be a big concern moving forward because they didn't deal with injuries last season until the very end.
But you know what? It looked like these injuries is helping them to find out what other players they do have that can play. So sometimes it's just like when we went to the Super Bowl. We lost Art, but we had other people to come in. When Gary and them went to the Super Bowl, Art wasn't 100% there, but him and Ricky came in. So what do you look at? That's just an opportunity. When you're looking at nowadays, these kids looking at I make this or that. When you looked at it at our time, it was all about the opportunity. When you got your opportunity, you did your best. I got the choir. Anybody want to say anything? Let me say it again.
I mean, I think Mariota is our secret weapon, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I mean, people can say what they want about him.
Yeah.
Anytime Jaden goes down, don't get me wrong, he's not Jaden. I'm not trying to say that he's Jaden. But I'm saying anytime Jaden goes down, go look at his ratings when weekly. He's always way over 100% quarterback rating. Way over 100%. And he wins.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he wins. It's just what it is.
Marcus Mariota.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
hit it quick.
I would start Marcus Mariota this week simply because he's a former Atlanta Falcon and because he was treated so badly by the Falcons when he was let go. If you watch that series called Quarterbacks on Netflix, and they talked about Marcus Mariota and the way they made it look as if he walked away from his team when in reality he had to have surgery, and yet they made it look like he didn't have to have surgery. He just walked away from the team. I hated the way they treated him on that series. I didn't like the way Atlanta Falcons treated him. And boy, I tell you, there's bad blood there. I think if I were the team, I would start Marcus Mariota and let him put 400 yards and 5 touchdowns on him. I swear to goodness.
Well, now we thank you for that, Mr. General Manager. You did a good job of that. I may agree with you on some of that stuff, but at the same time, Marcus did deserve a chance. But with that being said, we're going to give Donna a chance next week to catch up. We're going to give Gary a chance to be even cooler. I don't know how he can do that. He already North Pole. Big fella going to come back. But Trey, you got to tell me you're going to come back. And Mike, you took 2 years high end, so we need you back. And I tell you what, we need y'all back just like they need us. And if we keep on in the stands, we may be there during the Super Bowl time. But one thing we won't do now is we're not going to say goodbye. We say in the minute.